Welcome back to Kicking It with Kenya. So, today's topic kind of spawned from me thinking of our last show before we did overrated, underrated, overhyped. And one of the things that was on my choice for underrated was the BET Awards. With everything going on with the Grammys or with the Oscars and all the limited nominations that we used to get, I always wonder, why do we not care about the BET Awards the way we should? That's my opinion. So, with the BET Awards that just passed, or any past and or any ones in the past before, how do you feel about the BET Awards? I feel like it's underrated in our community. I don't know how you would feel about it.
As far as getting one, or as far as the actual show itself?
Both. Like, I feel like getting an actual BET Award and the show itself, the whole thing is kind of underrated. Like, I don't understand why we don't value it more. That is our show. That is our network. People be like, when Beyonce didn't win Album of the Year, but you know how many awards Beyonce won for BET, but you don't want to show up? Like, I don't understand. Like, back in the day, some of our biggest artists used to be front row and center there. Now, all of a sudden, they treat it like it's some Chitlin circuit and don't want to come around anymore. When that was the platform that started most careers. When those people weren't showing you videos, they were being shown on BET. It wasn't shown on, like, MTV like that. It wasn't shown on other platforms outside of the Black Network and the Black Syndicate. So why is it that when it comes down to Black celebrities who in the BET Awards, why we don't value those awards just as much as we value a Grammy? If anything, we should be telling Grammys kiss our ass. Because you wasn't caring before. Now you want to care because I already made it. But I made it because of this network's backing.
But I think your exact point is exactly why people feel the way they feel. Because at one point they weren't acknowledging us. Now that they are, and it's something that is looked at as a bigger award, like winning a Grammy, winning an Oscar, I feel like the validation they feel for getting the award from someone that originally didn't accept you is bigger than getting the award from a community that may be rooting for you. You know what I'm saying?
But why?
Because it's always like, as no matter how many supporters you have, you always want to show up the haters. You know what I mean? It's like when people say, just focus on, the people that love you. But you always got your eye on the people that don't, because you want to prove to them that you're worth loving. So you feel more validated when the people that have... It feels better to prove the person that said you can't do it wrong than to prove to the person that said you can do it right. You know what I'm saying?
And like, I get that, but then it's like, why not still come to the people who did love you?
Because I feel like you get to the point where you take it for granted. You know what I'm saying? You take it for granted because you feel like it's not necessarily something that's in your wheelhouse as far as what you want. You want this. You want this because it's your own personal. It's almost like a personal challenge. You want to feel validated by those that have been trying to push you down for so long, to the point where you get to the point where they have no choice, and it feels more earned to you. It's just my opinion on how they feel. As far as the award shows itself, I feel like the BET Awards have put on some good shows in the past. I feel like a lot of the shows in recent years haven't necessarily been as good, but in my opinion, I feel that's a lot more to do with the musical acts that we have that, in my opinion, I just don't like as much as what we used to have.
Yeah, the musical talent is... the music talent this generation is really just not working for me. Like, they're not as energetic as they were back in the day. Like, the best memorable moment in BET was Beyonce coming out doing Crazy in Love, and then Monique the year after doing the same. Like, those memorable moments. And then also, like, when Will and Jada hosted, that was good. What was another good one? I like when Chris Tucker hosted and had that reggae set. That was a lot of energy. But it's like, nowadays, it's like everybody's doing the same thing. And just slowly walking back and forth. Nobody's doing no performances anymore. Or that time when Missy Elliott came out and it was Fat Man Scoop and they were in Sierra and they was doing their whole thing. Like, I love productions when it comes down to performances. I don't just like somebody just sitting there rapping on the stage all the time and just sitting, going back and forth. But, like, I agree with the musical talent. I just feel like I don't get why they still don't come, though. Like, Drake don't come. You're not Jay-Z. Jay-Z don't come. Beyonce don't come.
A lot of them don't go to the Oscars either.
Well, the Oscars is more so for acting.
I mean, not the Oscars, the Grammys.
Jay-Z and Beyonce always be at them Grammys.
I'm not necessarily referring to him. I'm more so referring to people like Drake and people that haven't won. Jay-Z's already won damn near more Grammys than any other rapper.
True.
You know what I mean? But it's still a sense of validation to get a Grammy, because winning a Grammy has been held as being more the highest form of honor that an artist can get as far as an award they can win is a Grammy. Same thing with the Oscars for acting. It's always been held in that regard. It's been held high on a global scale. You know what I mean? That's why when you see an artist coming somewhere, they'll say Grammy Award winning artist such and such.
They'll say BET Award winning
artist such and such. You know what I mean? So I feel like with the Grammys, I feel like that's why, because it's held in such a high regard. It's like winning one is a staple in your career that not every artist can say they've done. And when you do it, it enhances your profile in the eyes of a lot of people.
But I just don't get the why. Why is it that award has to be the one that we regard so high? And like for instance, that one time they did that boycott when it was Will Smith and that genre of music. And he had to accept his award over the phone because he just wouldn't come. I think it was Will Smith. Was it Dougie Fresh and them? I don't know. It was like around that era. They staged a whole boycott because they just like, why am I coming to this? It doesn't make sense. And it was such unity in that moment with them, to the point, like I said, he had to call in and accept his award, but he wasn't coming. I don't get why is it that we can't not go and then build the platform that we have to the point where y'all got to come to us. Because you know what I don't understand? Like there was a show one time, BET Award, where Sam Smith won. He ain't come, and he probably won't. Like white people really won't come. I don't want to say it like that, but they really won't come to the BET Awards. But we wanting to break our necks to go over there. Like, why is it that we just can't all be like, nah, we're going to do our thing. You guys do your thing. And if you want our talented artists to come to stuff, then that means you might want to come on our side and see if we could come over there. I just don't understand why we can never, ever just stay unified long enough. We always want to sit there and be invited to the table. And that's how it looks to me. It's not just with the BET Awards. We always want to be like, we want that invite to be accepted by those that repress. And it's like, why? Like, we have something that's beautiful and can be very beautiful. The fact that we had artists like Michael Jackson, James Brown, all of our greats come on that, Tina Turner, Prince. We had all of them coming on the BET Awards. They weren't too good to not do it. Why is it that we acting bougie now? I don't understand that. Some of y'all not Michael. Now all of a sudden y'all want to be bougie and just want to go to the Grammys. I'm not understanding why. And to me, it's just like, I get that you want to be held into that Grammy standpoint, but it's like, why don't you take your stardom and your power and bring it here, basically? Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like, and then thinking of like James Brown and like Michael Jackson and like Charlie Wilson and Stevie Wonder and all of those like beautiful performances we saw within the Lifetime Achievement Award, it's like, people are always like, oh, who's going to get the next one? But it's kind of hard because I don't even know if you guys deserve it because y'all don't appreciate it. Like, y'all don't even come. So who, like, I remember one time when somebody was like, oh, is Beyonce going to get one? Does she come? She going to come for the one night we honor her? That's kind of whack. So it's like, who would you want to see getting the BET Award, Lifetime Achievement Award, if they come?
I think the Lifetime Achievement Award is running out of artists that fit the mold of what a Lifetime Achievement Award is supposed to represent. Because you're going to get to a point where you're going to have to start looking, if you're honoring like singers, because I don't remember them doing rappers.
I don't think they did.
The Hip Hop Awards does rappers, but the BET Awards, I don't remember them doing rappers. So you're going to get to a point where you're going to have to start looking at your Ushers, your Alicia Keys, your Beyoncés, your Rihanna, like those artists that maybe like pop late 90s, early 2000s, as opposed to the ones that have like 30, 40 years in the game. Because you're running out of options to choose from. And though a lot of people feel like when you discuss Lifetime Achievement Award, it should be artists that have a lifetime in. So if you're honoring an artist that is newer, it doesn't feel as earned.
And it feels like you just jumped over some other people.
But on the flip side of that, I'm gonna just be honest here. There's a lot of artists that people have honored in the old school that you can argue, yeah, you came out in the 80s, but you haven't really done as much as someone that came out in the 2000s. You know what I'm saying? Like Usher and Beyonce, like these type of artists that have done a lot in the time they've been out. They've been out a good 20 years, 20, 30, 20, 25 years. But because they're still relevant, they feel newer than someone who we haven't seen in a while, and we're honoring them. And then we hear the tribute and we hear these records that take us back to when we were kids. And it gives us that, hey, type old school feeling, as opposed to honoring someone that we still see. And it feels like, well, they're not really old. And we forget how long they've been out.
Right.
You know, I've always said that about Jay-Z. Because he's still relevant now, we forget that he debuted in 89. You know what I'm saying? Like he's from 30 years ago. He's about to be 50. You know what I mean? Like,
I was honestly shocked to see Mary J. Blige was on it.
Mary J. Blige deserved it.
But it's like, I always think, because what you said, like, because some people are still current. I just saw her performing, like, last year at the Essence Fest. And I'm just thinking about, dang, there was nobody else before we got to Mary. Once I saw it was Mary, I'm like, dang, now we're really entering into our music.
Well, at the end, also, as controversial as this may be, the one artist that, if you're going with Mary, that would deserve to win a Lifetime Achievement Award, that is most likely never going to get one, is R. Kelly.
Pretty much.
Because if we're honoring the music and what their contributions to music was, his contributions and his resume dictates that he deserves it. Now, everything surrounding him,
he's not gonna get one.
It's not gonna happen.
And that's and that sucks. But at the same time, like, yeah, he's not gonna get one. Like, cause you know how I feel about R. Kelly. We talked about this a few episodes back. Like, I feel like he is R&B. Like, he is R&B, and like, for you to have such a reputation at this point in your life where you're not, it's so sad that you're gonna go out without ever being recognized for everything that you did, contribute to so many people's albums, so many people's careers, all the hits you have written before. It's like, now to go out like this, it's kind of sad.
As sad as it may be from a historical perspective, it's also something that is very much self-inflicted.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the issues are things that, well, you put yourself in a situation. You know what I mean? Like, but if we're just speaking about artists that should be honored, and we're talking singers, BET, Black Entertainment Television, has mostly honored gospel and R&B artists. There is no male R&B figure bigger and more vital to that genre than R. Kelly.
Yeah.
That has not been honored yet. That's just a fact. He's bigger and done more than most people that have been honored.
And he has written for most people who have been honored. Because he's written for Whitney, he's written for a few people. Had Mariah Carey ever got one?
I don't know if Mariah Carey's ever won one. She's probably won. Janet's one that comes to mind. I'm not sure if she's got one either. But Janet,
because I'm surprised, like, if she didn't get one, why didn't she? Did she have a resume long enough to have a Lifetime Achievement Award?
Mariah Carey is very accomplished in the business. But again, you've honored people in the past that, you know, may not have done as much as people like Mariah Carey or Janet Jackson,
right,
or people of that genre. You know, maybe Alicia Keys one day, Beyonce.
Really, Alicia? I think that's a stretch.
I mean, but you're getting to a point where you're gonna run out of
I would
artists.
do Usher before Alicia.
I mentioned Usher.
Oh, okay. Who would you think would get the next Lifetime Award? Like, honestly, you had to pick.
If she hadn't got one yet, I probably would go with Janet Jackson.
I feel like she's been honored.
She might have been, but
she did be honored. Because remember they did that whole thing where Sierra came out, or was that just for Michael Jackson?
When she did the tribute, that was the MTV Awards.
Oh.
But I don't know if Janet has ever gotten a Lifetime Achievement Award from BET.
Got it.
But I think she's somebody that, if you're going with someone that has, I mean, she's sold a shit ton of records. She has hits. She has longevity. She has, and I think she would be someone that would draw in terms of Janet's gonna perform for her own thing. She draw because Janet can still perform.
She did draw. When I went to Essence Fest, she was one of the headliners. It was Mary J. Blige on Saturday and Janet on Sunday, I think. She was the closer of the whole weekend. Mm-hmm. She did draw. Like, a lot of them tickets was because of Janet. Because they added her later.
And I feel like if you honor Janet Jackson and she is going to perform, she would still be able to put on a great show. And I feel like you get to the point, the BET Awards that went past, I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the tribute. I did not think Mary sounded great.
No, she didn't. She sounded so winded. Like granted, we gotta take into consideration, Mary's not a spring chicken. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, sis, I would have rather you lip sync if you was gonna do all the movements. And I get you probably would have been read either way, because oh yeah, she lip singing, but it's like at this point we gotta be understanding of the fact that she can't keep up the way she could once keep up before with all them kicks and combat moves she does. Then I think maybe she needed to like sing live and have that play as she was like Cardi B be doing allegedly. Apparently that's what they say she does. But I think like that's what it has to be, because now her and Nas is supposed to be going on some tour. I'm not really looking forward to. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go because of that BET Award performance. At first I was like, oh shoot, I wouldn't mind, but now it's like, am I going to get that again?
I think Mary's better than that. I'm not gonna Mary. Seeing her live, Mary's better. That one show, I just felt was a little off. Felt a little
As his Fest, she was great. I don't know what happened. I'm like, a lot can happen in a year. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for BET Award, when it comes out Lifetime Achievement Award for me, I feel like eventually we might have to start recognizing these rappers, and then maybe like. But see, the thing with rap is a lot of them only get recognized when it's like humanitarian-esque. Like you were also doing stuff for the community and yada, yada, yada. And then I remember one time I was thinking, I don't know why, like rapper-wise, this person popped up in my head. I don't know why I was thinking about Ice Cube. Because of everything he's been doing so far. Like, you know, his Cube vision, like how he started. I think that's a really good coming-of-age story. And in fact, just because he's not putting out records doesn't mean he's not relevant.
See, but then you have to get into, if you're talking Lifetime Achievement Award, if it's beyond music, and you're talking about everything that they've done within their career as it relates to entertainment, Cube is definitely someone that should be honored in that regard, because he's done things that a lot of people, I mean, going into film, I mean, he was vital for West Coast rap. Going into film, the man started a basketball league, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And it's growing. You know what I mean? So if we're talking about career achievements, then it's definitely something that should be taken into consideration.
But isn't that what's considered in a Lifetime Achievement Award? Everything you did, your whole totality?
Well, a lot of times it seems like they keep it more to music. But if you are going to talk about just outside of that, then that's when I feel like you do have to look at your Ice Cubes, your Diddy's, your Jay, your people like that, because you're gonna need to venture into honoring certain people that you may not have honored, but you're gonna get to the point where you're not gonna have a choice. Because if you do this every year, you're gonna run out of people.
Right.
You know, so you're going to have to go more modern. Beyonce will get it, as she deserves to get it eventually. You know what I mean? She's going to get it. And we all know she can put on a great show.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think it'll be interesting to see where they're going to end up going in the future. But if we're talking next year, you know.
Who would you give it to?
Like I said, if we're talking next year, out of the choices that we have, I would go with Janet Jackson. I think.
What would be your second person? Oh, this is tough.
I think Usher and Beyonce are two good names that
I think Usher should get it before Beyonce should.
I mean, you can say that. He's been out longer
as
a solo act. But if you honor Beyonce, also you're going to throw in the success with Destiny's Child.
True.
So then you can have a cool tie-in where she could possibly do a reunion show with them. Like bring them out and do something fun, and then you're gonna. I feel like you can market it from the perspective of being the biggest artist we've seen post like Michael Jackson, or the biggest we've seen in the modern era. So though you're not necessarily going Lifetime Achievement Award from a standpoint of they've been out since the 80s, we're going from a standpoint of we hadn't seen an artist this big and this long since this person. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a good marketing way to push that. And again, you honor Beyonce, you're gonna have eyes on the product. So,
but I feel like I feel like Beyonce gotta be like, the only reason why I'm like not yet with Beyonce is because I feel like she gotta be a little later. Because I feel like we are just jumping genres now. I feel like, but I guess like with Lifetime Achievement Award, it's like who's still standing. Mm-hmm. So it's like, because when they said Mary, I'm like, wait, we just went from. Who was the person before Mary? I can't even remember. But I'm like, we went from that. I felt like we were still honoring people in like the 80s and all that. And then we just jumped ourselves to the 90s era. And I'm like, wait. I feel like we done missed some people here that probably still around. And we like dig long enough, like who we could be honoring. But man, it just really sucks that R. Kelly's never going to get one though, because that just only would have made sense.
Yeah.
I feel like he was never going to get one since the imagine the show on that, like all his hits, all of them, and then like who would sing those hits? That would have been perfect too. Like, 'cause, they don't sing their own songs yet. They have other people honor them. So it's like, who would have sung those hits like that he have written for people, or like some turn back their hands of time? But whatever, we're not gonna make it an R. Kelly show. But I don't know. My thing is like Ice Cube. I think would have been the one I would pick if we're going to the rap route. And then I was leaning towards Usher, I guess. But it's like after Confessions, how was his music really after that? Like you had Confessions. I mean, you do little stuff, but it's not like it was as big as Confessions. And that was in the early 2000s.
But Confessions was one of the biggest albums in modern history.
And I love Confessions. But it was like in the early 2000s. So if we're talking about current, who's current? It would be probably Beyonce. But who knows? You let us know what you think of the BET Awards, how we felt earlier about the BET Awards versus the Grammys, who you might give your Lifetime Achievement Award to. Do not attack us about our comments about R. Kelly. It is what it is. It's the truth. It's his music. Until next time, peace.